So often when people make the decision to buy a property, which after all is probably the biggest financial decision of their lifetime, the budget is very important. But I would say 9 times out of 10, people buy with their heart. People walk in and they feel the property. They feel that it's the place for them. And sometimes if it's a little bit above the budget, they will make all the necessary in order to be able to purchase that property. The heart rules, the heart dictates. Having said this, obviously budget is important. It's very easy to get carried away. So it's very, very important, and you'll see this with our buyer's guide, to budget. Make sure you have a plan, make sure you budget. You could have a little contingency so that if you do fall in love with a particular property, you can push the budget out, but it's very important not to get carried away. That's my advice. Working with a budget is very important. Often people they want to start looking at the properties without having done their homework. So if you do fall in love with a property and you say, this is the one for me, this is the one I really want to buy, and then after that we go through the budgeting process and you realize, actually I can't afford to buy it, it's a little bit of a letdown for yourself, also a waste of time. So the budget should come before viewing a property. You really need to understand, how am I going to purchase this property? Is it my own funds? Is it a mortgage? If it's with a mortgage, what are my earnings? What are my outgoings? What are my debts? You have to look at your loan to income ratio. Once you've done a budget and you've said to yourself, okay, this is the amount that I can spend either on a lump sum, or this is the amount I can spend on a monthly basis, then we can go and start looking at properties. This is a very good point. When you're budgeting, obviously you need to take into consideration the purchasing costs and the purchasing process, but you also need to look a little bit further down the line. What are the running costs? How much are the community fees? Community fees can vary from nothing, if for example if you're inside a town, to a very high community fee running into thousands if you are in a beautiful urbanization with beautiful manicured gardens and a gymnasium and paddle tennis courts and swimming pools. So your running costs are very, very important, as are your IBI, the Impuesto de Bienes Inmuebles. This is your council tax equivalent, and so it's very important to check, what is your IBI, what is your monthly, your yearly cost. Typically, the IBI is paid on a yearly basis. You can budget depending on the local authority, and you can divide your IBI up to 11 monthly installments. As a non-resident, you also need to pay a non-resident income tax. That's also very important to calculate what is your income tax requirement on an annual basis. Location, location, location. This is the real estate mantra, but it's a very important mantra. Why do you want to buy in Spain? Which part of Spain do you want to buy? Do you have friends? Do you have family? Have you holidayed in the area and you've got happy memories, and that's the reason why you want to become now a permanent resident in Spain? So the location is very, very important. Also, location within locations. Once you've identified the area that you want to live in, is living near the beach more important, or would it be fine to be living maybe on a golf course or up in the hills? You do get more for your money the further away you are from the beach. But obviously you have to balance the fact that then you are going to be maybe a short drive to the beach. And within location, so you can use the budget and your preference of property to play a little bit. For example, if you want a villa with a pool, you have a certain amount of budget, well, maybe you're not going to be buying it on the beach. You're going to have to be buying it a little bit more inland. Or if you say, no, beach is really important to me, then perhaps it's going to be an apartment in an urbanization on the beach. Another really important part in the buying process, and something which you can do whilst you're back home dreaming about living in Spain and dreaming about buying your holiday home, is put together a list of the features that are must-haves, and maybe put together a list of features that would be good to have but could be maybe negotiable. This really does help me as an estate agent to identify what it is that you're really looking for, and it helps the estate agent to really focus on what would be a good property to suggest to yourself. This is almost like working with a blank canvas, basically starting to paint on the canvas the idea and the imagination of what it is that you really are looking for. Obviously, this would be your utopia, and sometimes it's not going to be possible to have a villa with a pool right on the beach within your budget. But this is the whole imagination process, and obviously the must-haves and the non-negotiables with the would-be good to have and the negotiables. We have to find somewhere in between, which is going to be perfect for your budget and for your wishes. When you start your search and you start looking, it can be mind-boggling and daunting. So working with a good agent, who's a local agent who knows the area, is a very, very important part of the process. And this is where you as a buyer really have to trust your agent and really be honest with your agent and explain exactly what you're looking for, and let the agent guide you through the process. I would say, if you're working with one good local agent who has a good network of referrals, so what I mean is sometimes your local agent may not be the listing agent of a specific property, but your local agent has the resources to work with other agents, then I would say it's better to work with one agent where you can be trusting with that agent, and that agent is the one who's doing the work for you, who's going out into the market, checking out on the different MLS systems, the multi-listing systems, and finding out who has the best property for you. And there's a good collaboration network of agents on the Costa del Sol, and I would say, in fact, it's probably one of the best in working together. Agents do work together and they do share properties, and that is the best way for you as a buyer not to be completely daunted by this buying task and being pulled left, right and centre by all these different agents telling you conflicting bits of advice. That's my personal advice. So when you choose your local agent, I would check out Google reviews. I would check out how long has that agent been working in the area. Do they live in the area where they're selling? And find out a little bit of background. Ultimately, you've got to be able to click with your agent, but you do want to be able to click with an agent that has got knowledge and experience and a team of people around them that can give you full one-stop shop package.